So we're going to be talking a little bit about central bank digital currencies, and I think we're going to start with a question to Nelixa. We're seeing more and more jurisdictions looking at this, and why is this happening? What's driving this?
Thank you. Yes, thanks very much for the invitation to come and discuss this topic today. And my apologies now, but I do have a hard stop at 10 o'clock.
Okay.
But just to pick up on your question, I think it might be useful just if we touch upon the fact that central bank digital currencies are not cryptocurrencies. This is money that is issued and backed by your local central bank. It's the same, has the same equivalence as the notes and coins that you carry in your pocket, but it's different from the electronic money that we, use today when I send money from my bank account to your bank account, because that money is a bank deposit. And that's backed by its commercial bank money, which is backed by deposit guarantee schemes, whereas central bank digital currency would be a digital representation of the notes and coins that you carry, and therefore have the central bank backing. And I think it's worth saying that central banks have been looking at this topic for a very long time. There are lots and lots of publications out there from central banks across the globe, Sweden, Canada, Bank of England, Singapore, and many others. And they've been looking at it for many reasons, many different policy drivers, financial inclusion, better payment systems, faster payments, competition innovation, traceability, law enforcement, and of course, last year, very much accelerated by the reaction to the Libra white paper. And I think that that has driven and accelerated the interest of central banks in digital currencies. And I think that we are, in the next few years, actually going to see a mainstream adoption. When I say next few years, probably, about 5. It's not like next year.
You think it's going to take 5 years for
I
us
think
to
at
see
least
many
5
countries?
years. At least 5 years. I mean, there are pilots ongoing. There's a pilot in the Bahamas called the Sand Dollar Project. There's obviously a pilot being undertaken by the People's Bank of China for a digital yuan.
Which I understood that they already started distributing in different cities.
Yes, I think it's in about 3 cities at the moment. The Swedish Riksbank, which was at the forefront of all of this, is undertaking work on looking at, rolling out a retail CBDC. Whereas, interesting, the Banque de France and other central banks have been looking more in the wholesale CBDC space.
Yeah, so this is a question for Estelle. And could you tell us, well, I have a few questions for you. First of all, could you please tell us what the difference is between wholesale and retail CBDCs? We'd like to know that. And also if you could, tell us what you think about the digital yuan and the global dollar and all the rest of, what's happening there.
Thank you, Meirav. Yeah, I think it's to add to very interesting the description of CBDC, we have to distinguish between retail and wholesale. And the first one is the one intended to be distributed and available for the whole population, like cards and card payment we use nowadays. And the second one, wholesale, is dedicated to banks. So it's more on the interbanking space between the central banks and the banks. And this is the wholesale is the one Banque de France is focusing on, and also what we think or what we know that the European Central Bank is more focusing on, because that would be very interesting for banks for cross-border payments, interbanking cross-border payments. In the European area, the largest zone, but also in other countries. And we have a new platform in the Arab Monetary Fund that has been implemented recently that is focusing on wholesale. So, and retail, my analysis is that retail CBDC are less needed in Europe, except Sweden or that kind of countries, but they are less needed in Europe, where we have already all kinds of digital payment instruments. then in unbanked countries such as Africa, but also South America.